Welcome to the podcast.
The podcast.
I'm Ricky Sands.
Daniel Heidbrink.
Andy Rivera.
The podcast where we talk about podcasting things.
Music.
Podcasting music.
Podcasting church things.
Movies.
Lots of stuff.
And books.
And other things.
Tune in as often as we can remember to record these things.
The podcast.
Podcast
With
Ricky Sands.
Daniel Heidbrink.
Andy Rivera.
Welcome everybody to the podcast. My name is Ricky Sands. I think what we'll do here is we'll just kind of go around the table, maybe introduce who we are, what's the point of this, why are we doing this, and those types of things. So anyways, as I said, my name is Ricky Sands. I am the youth fella here at the Edge Christian Fellowship. And I do lots of things, wear lots of hats. And Daniel, who's sitting across the table from me here on the conference table, has been begging to get this podcast. Actually, I just want to make something clear. When I approached Daniel about a year and a half ago about starting a podcast, he was like not for it at all. And then I moved away from St. Joe, or moved back to St. Joe after I lived next door to him in Weston. And suddenly he wants to start a podcast when he lives a half hour away. So, anyways, but I think the idea here is we really have no idea what we're doing, but I'm really excited about it.
Oh yeah. Hi guys, Daniel Heidbrink. Yep, what Ricky says is true. I don't have an explanation for that. I don't know why that happened. So, but I am the worship leader at the Edge. So kind of learning as we go, but trying to figure out some of the other positions that I might be taking on here. And we're really excited for this thing, whatever the heck it's going to turn into. So.
Andy?
Hey guys. Hey, I'm just kind of chilling back here, expecting like, Dad, when do I get to do my turn? But I'm the audiovisual feller back behind the sound booth and all things related to the church. And yeah.
He's also a youth guy.
Oh, I'm also youth. Yeah, I also like
him and his
kid.
awesome wife Elena are like number one youth leaders.
So I know a lot of this is very new to us, but I'm sure we could touch on as things progress. Kind of everything that involves all things church. We are three Christians who are just living life, and we'll see what comes of this. But just know that these are things that we all deal with, the things that we will be talking about. So yeah. Yeah,
I think it'll be really cool. We'll kind of talk theology and just kind of like who are some authors that we're currently reading, who are we influenced by, and those types of things. I'm really excited to kind of dig into this. I think that all of us, the three of us, probably agree for the most part on different doctrines of the Bible, but it'll be really interesting to kind of dig into those types of things as we have conversation and those types of things. By the way, when you heard me crack open a can, I just want to make it clear.
it was not beer.
It was beer.
It actually, yeah, Ricky.
It is
Milwaukee's best.
It is currently 2:55 in the afternoon.
You know
it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's actually, you know what? So I went to Aldi's, and I thought this was going to be bad because it says it's light. But it's an Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
It's a half and half lemonade, half tea.
It's like LIT, not LIG.
Yeah, it's Arnold Palmer Light, right? But I love the Arnold Palmer drink, the half lemonade, half tea type of thing.
Just throwing a plug in here for
we're looking for sponsors, Arizona. Would you sponsor our podcast?
We are neither sponsored nor nonprofit, so
right.
So we're in between.
Yeah, we make no money. We know that. Anyways, Aldi's, you can pick this up. a 12 pack for like, I mean, it's like $1.50 for a 12 pack of this stuff.
If you don't shop at Aldi's, then
You can get out.
Don't listen to our podcast ever again if you listened.
Aldi's, we are not sponsored by you. Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. Seriously though, like it says, it's amazing. So we're moving. We're getting ready to move on Friday, and I'm super stoked about it. But when we were shopping, I was like, look, we sold our stove, we sold our fridge. We have no way to cook, so we need microwave goods and we need beverages.
Arizona tea.
We need beverages that we can drink out of like a can or a bottle or something, so we don't have to use cups because we packed. I mean, our whole kitchen's packed.
Anyways, this stuff. God actually provided for Moses and everyone Arizona tea.
True story.
And manna. So.
Yeah.
And they didn't
manna, which in modern times we know is microwavable pizza rolls.
At least kids
Totino's pizza rolls.
So,
in Arizona, Arnold Palmer, half and half, half iced tea, half lemonade.
It is a delicacy.
I'm telling you, it's delicious.
So I'm gonna have to try one.
So some things we're also going to be like hitting on is more or less the things that we kind of struggle with. It's a tough life to live in a world that seems to be so lost. And I know at times I don't have an Arizona tea at my side all the time, but
it helps get you through.
It helps get me through.
Arnold Palmer, good man, good drink. I know nothing about him, by the way. I hope he was a good man. I know he played golf, according to the label on the can.
The labels, and you can trust labels.
Well, he's probably a good man.
Right.
He looks like a good man.
Yeah, I think though there is this idea that there's this false like preconceived notion like Christianity means that you're perfect or you have some type of entitlement or something like that. But I think we would all agree that we're all human, and so I think that we all struggle with different things. And I think it's important that we're transparent. We talk about those things, that we're vulnerable, and that people hear that devoted men of God, like as staff in a church, and as we're just humans. We're just human beings too, and so I think that it's definitely going to be interesting to kind of tackle these types of things, talk about what we're struggling with in our marriages at home, the things that we struggle with, even on Sunday mornings. You know, I know Daniel and I have had many conversations where he's had to pull me off to the cry room to pray, find out what's going on. Why am I being a grumpy McGillicuddy? You know, those types of things.
Yeah, those are real half the time, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes every Sunday happens. You know, sometimes Ricky has to tell me what to do. You know, put me in my place because sometimes I'm cottonhead and any muggins.
Right.
Man, you guys are throwing those words out.
No, it's good to. I think what everyone doesn't see is that, you know, when you walk into the service, especially out at our church, we not very many people see the pre-production that goes into it. And so what's really important is that we emphasize our hearts into really the production of it. I mean, we could sit here and be experts on, you know, sound and playing songs and, you know, relaying a message to you. But if our hearts aren't in the right place, then there is literally no purpose for it. And so the purpose of this is just to get our point of view from it that maybe you guys don't see. And just to show you what it means to be held accountable for really the things that we do in our heart as well, which is a great thing, which is a very important thing to have.
Yeah. And I think too, so we're kind of trying, the whole intent of this first episode is to give kind of a little bit of a flavor of what this is going to be like listening for the three viewers. I keep saying viewers, but we aren't video.
Earlier, we made that clear.
Earlier, I said to Andy, sound and audio to try to differentiate that, and that doesn't work.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It is. So that's embarrassing. But we're going to be trying to. I think like what we're getting at is we're going to really be looking at things, talking about everything. I mean, our lives, entertainment, life of ministry, the life of being a husband, of some of us being dads. And so I think there's
about
a lot
to
of...
be a dad.
What's up?
About to be a dad. Shout out.
My wife's pregnant.
She's
pregnant.
It's awesome.
Exactly, and try to provide some wisdom and I don't know, things that we're learning, areas that we need to grow in to learn more of. I think is going to be really important. But I think so. I think that kind of sums up a little bit of what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be interesting to kind of just tackle the different areas that we oversee within a church. And also, we all have kind of like a different experience. You as a worship leader, worship pastor, you as like the AV, like things.
Sound and audio.
The audio visual stuff. Whereas like, Andy and I's paths cross a lot in that we both serve in those areas, and I was kind of the AV guy passing off the baton to Andy, and then we both serve in youth ministry. Then Daniel and I go way back, just playing music and stuff.
Listening to Trapped all the time.
Yeah.
A bunch of Headstrong.
Just growing up playing in bands together and stuff. And
Which we can touch on in a future episode too.
Yeah, for sure.
There are great aspects. I think it's awesome because we all come from a background of music, so we kind of know the ins and outs of like not only like the camaraderie, what comes with it, but also like doing music and see how that challenges us, especially now that we're all Christians and we commit our heart to God and what that means to be involved in music. And it's essentially you going out into the world and the world still is itself, and you want to be the salt of the earth, and you want to be the light in the world, and these are great things that we're going to be talking about because each one of us brings something to the table, different perspective on things, and we all have our own kind of hobbies that we like to do, but how that affects our walk with God and not putting them as idols. And I know that's something that's hard that happens in life where we get kind of a misdirection on things. So
yeah. So I think this episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter than what you would typically hear from us.
Like Danny DeVito short.
Yeah. Like Danny DeVito short. And so if you will, just stay tuned, follow us on SoundCloud for now. I think we're going to try to get this up on iTunes once we figure out how to make that happen.
It'll happen.
Daniel says it'll happen.
We have laptops, so
we do have a laptop.
I think we need to learn how to use our laptops first.
Right.
To do that. I just push buttons right now.
We'll figure it out.
They put me in charge of the AV stuff.
Crunch.
So I crunch the numbers.
Do anything?
So you're probably going to hear a lot of Office quotes in this podcast too. I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, I think if there's two things that I could pick that the three of us most definitely agree on. First, it's Jesus, obviously.
Yes.
The second is The Office.
Yes.
Straight up.
I think
it's my marriage.
I think that TV was actually made for The Office. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
TV was invented for The Office. It's the only show I've ever seen.
Sometimes I hear a lot. Sometimes we need to align our hearts to the Bible, but sometimes I align, The Office to my lifestyle.
Gosh. So we're going to be talking about secular things and non-secular things, basically.
Yeah, so we're human. We're people. And so we're just going to talk about things and stuff.
Things and stuff is pretty broad, but it's...
So when you talk about the podcast, it's hashtag everything is awesome.
We really are the podcast.
I think that's a thing. I think that's a Lego movie thing.
That's a Lego. I meant hashtag everything awesome. Or everything all things awesome. So
which is it? Hashtag all things awesome? Hashtag all things awesome.
Hashtag the podcast. Everything is awesome.
Podcast.
When you're part of a team. Alright, so I don't know how, we haven't even talked about how often we plan on doing this. I'm hoping at minimum once a month, but if we can meet like every week, awesome. But here's the thing is we're just going to say we're going to record this ish. As when we can meet, we'll record and we'll talk about things as they come, and we'll just kind of let the Lord lead and see where each week takes us and what we want to talk about.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're the Ninja Turtles without a turtle.
Exactly.
You know, with 3 turtles.
We may even take requests eventually if we get like, you know, when we start getting a lot of listeners, like 10 listeners maybe, then we might, you know, if we get requests for certain topics or subjects or things. We may even eat on this podcast, while we're talking. We might.
So you might hear a lot of this.
You could.
In this.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of, hey, I am not hungry because I just ate.
Have you got me a fork?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Or like
the Parmesan?
There might even be moments of silence where it's just us eating.
Yeah, and we're not going to spend a ton of time editing this podcast.
Oh, no.
Because part of being...
it's all hashtag raw.
Yeah, transparent
WCW
is being
Raw.
hashtag WCW Raw cage match style.
Straight up.
We might fight, like cage match style.
It could happen.
We are recording this around a conference table right now.
Yeah.
But we could bring a cage in here. It's a pretty decent size.
It's pretty sizable.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is we like to, you know, like we don't like to play by the book. We like to think outside the box and just kind of, you know.
We're not cliche. I know that sounds cliche to say that we're not cliche.
Bro, that was not cliche because I know what you meant, bro.
Right. So
exactly.
So I think that's probably about it. We should probably sign off. I've got to convince my wife to let me go swimming later, even though we're moving at the end of the week. We have a ton of packing. So if you guys could just bum me like $5, I would have enough money to go.
You know, Ricky, it says, you know, we should tie it to the church, not to our friends' pockets.
Well, it's in addition to, it's for a good cause. My nephew's going. Does that?
Oh.
My nephew needs to go swimming.
Right. Right. You have a water hose, don't you? Just spray him in the face. Same thing. It's the same thing.
All right. Signing off.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that's probably about it for today.
All right.
So
until next time-ish.
Ricky just made
I winked, like you're looking at me, and I did finger guns.
Everyone wink. Ready? Wink.
Okay.
Wink.
Wink.
You have to say it.
Okay, do it again.
Ready? 1,
2.
Wink.